Good afternoon. Welcome back to the glories of Hellenism. We continue our discussion of the Greek playwrights. And let me say once again, probably the greatest playwrights in the history of the world. With due apologies to Shakespeare and other favorites, we think these ancient Greeks, along with many experts who studied the problem, the subject, feel that they were the greatest. We're going to talk about Petris and Aristophanes. Euripides, known in English as Euripides, wrote Medea and Electra and Iphigenia. The Medea is about the wrath of a woman scorned. She helped Jason, who headed the expedition of the Argonauts, to retrieve the golden fleece from Colchis, and without her help they wouldn't have made it. And the prince who headed that expedition agreed that if she helped him, he would marry her and go back home and live happily ever after. Well, she helped him. Without her help, they could not have found the secret place where the golden fleece was held in Colchis, which he got and came back with. And he was with her for a while, but he abandoned her and went back home. And you recall Medea was so enraged that she sought to seek revenge. And what he did was marry someone else when he went back home. And she sent the bride a beautiful wedding present, which was a gorgeous gown. But when the bride wore the gown, it burst into flame and killed her. And that was known down to this day as the leading symbol or example of the wrath of a woman scorned. We also have Electra and Iphigenia, which we won't go into detail. Just those two plays are still well known, and they're played over and over again in Greece and in the States and throughout the Western world. And the next one in our glorious lineup of some of the ancients is Aristophanes. So we move from tragedy to comedy. Aristophanes really made people laugh. He wrote and produced The Frogs in 405 BC, and prior to that, The Clouds, and The Wasps, and The Birds, and the last one we have for him is The Frogs. He lived from 444 to 380 BC. And like the others that we've talked about, he is still renowned and fresh as if the plays were written this week. They touch upon human comedy, human drama, the lives problems that people encounter in their everyday lives. So they are still popular to this day, as I indicated for Euripides as well, because we relate to those things. They had a masterly knowledge of human nature, and their greatest skill was in being able to translate this knowledge of human nature into a play form which was shared by the audience. So when people saw these plays, they really related to them. They were taken from real life. Even though they were myths based on myths, they were taken from real life experiences. Now, during the golden age of Greece, in this series of plays and comedies and so forth, it was so popular that people flocked to the theater. One of the writers calls it kind of like a civic religious rite, celebrated in a building that is devoted to God. The open theater of Dionysus, which was below the Parthenon, a very sacred place on the southern slope of the Acropolis. They had wooden seats. They had a huge amphitheater with thousands of spectators, Athenians mostly, but people came from all over the place, not only from Greece but from outside. The audience is a brilliant audience. It's very lively, it's critical, and it's not bashful about expressing its pleasure or displeasure with the performers or with the authors. And they made that their feelings known very clearly. One writer calls the people who attended these plays as the most intelligent audience that a poet could hope for. Now we only have remnants, unfortunately, of the various plays. Aeschylus, whom we talked about last time, produced 90 plays. Only 7 remain. And you know, when you stop and think of that, when I first read that, I just about cried. I felt this great artist who produced these moving and wonderful plays has been lost to us, except for a very small part of his production. Sophocles, my favorite quotation from Sophocles is his appreciation of life and of man. My favorite quotation from Sophocles is, "Many are the wonders, but nothing is more wonderful than man." Only 7 out of 120 plays survive. Euripides, 18 out of 92. And Aristophanes, the comedian or comic writer, only 11 out of 42. So these things are sad, but it makes us cherish even more the remnants that are left and which are kept alive not only by people in Greece performing in that great ancient theater, but people here in the States, and as I said before, all over the Western world. I would like to add a note about the physical facilities, the theater, the amphitheater itself in which these great plays were produced in Athens. They were copied by Greek colonists in various parts of the world that they occupied at the time, and later also copied by the Romans. If you go to Africa, all across North Africa where the Romans were, you still find copies of this magnificent style of the Greek amphitheater, which was very popular in that day, and which is, as I say, continues to be used to this day. And we find them copied in various parts of the world, from the shores of the Black Sea, as one writer put it, to a sunlit spot in Berkeley, California. And guess what that is? That's the Greek theater in Berkeley. Now, those of you who haven't seen the Greek theater in Berkeley are missing out. Even if you just go there when nothing is happening, just to see the theater, and go up to the top and look down on the stage, or go down to the bottom and sit in seats that are similar to those that were reserved for special dignitaries in ancient Greece at the time that they produced their plays. You can close your eyes and you can feel that you're sitting in Athens, not current time, but all the way back to the ancient time when it was in its glory. These are monuments to the effect of the Attic drama upon the minds of the civilized world. And as I say, we have one of our own monuments right over here in Berkeley. So I recommend to you that you go see that. Well, time flies when we're enjoying things. I hope you've enjoyed this afternoon. I'm closing now with a note of thanks to the Ilios Society, which is a sponsor of this program, and also with a hope that you will continue to watch the glories of Hellenism, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. I certainly enjoyed making a brief presentation here and look forward to next episode. I thank you.